Today I'm going to be trying to find some of the best episodes of the most awful animated...
Let me up there, you fucking slut! You fat moron! You really think for even 1 second that Big Mouth or Mating Season or Brickleberry is gonna have a good episode? Good luck trying to find that! Because we all know you're just watching these shows again for the views! You moron!
Wow, I didn't know rat cheese could be so unbelievably mean to me. Maybe you got a point there. People sure do love to watch me suffer, and that is once again what I'm going to be doing today. Or is it? I'm going to be taking a look at some of the highest rated episodes, some of the episodes that people claim to love so much of Big Mouth, Mating Season, Brickleberry, all of these shows that I hate so unbelievably much, and see if these episodes can be so good that I give them a big old thumbs up. If you like content just like this, like, subscribe, you know the drill. Let's get into those episodes. Now, when it comes to going into the best episode of Mating Season, I really tried to see the other side of the grass. I tried to think of it from the people who truly love this show. The drama, the comedy, hell, this episode is the season finale. It's supposed to have the culmination of all the character arcs and bleed into the next season, you know, nicely, right? Because there is going to be a season 2 and I'm terrified of it. I could just tell it's coming over the horizon as they're planning to cancel other beloved shows. But either way, I really tried. I even tried trying the tactic that a lot of people like to do when they're watching shows like this, like, I had such a hard day. Let me turn my brain off. Gee whiz, let me rewind that. I loved it when the beaver said, my squishy vagina. You know, like, I tried to have no intellect. I tried to be a walking Neanderthal, just dragging my knuckles on the ground and just not being able to fornicate any words while watching it, and it just doesn't work. If a Neanderthal was watching Mating Season, he would genuinely bum rush the screen like, oh! You know, just attacking it with all of his power, all of his might, worse than the first time he ever saw fire and started burning his own carcass because he didn't understand it. Genuinely, the writing is so shitty. I don't think somebody who just has one singular brain cell would be able to look past all the inconsistencies and the genuinely awful comedy in this show. I just don't get it at all, and I really tried to go into this with an extremely positive mindset. The episode opens with Fawn being all sad, trying to get that, you know, sizzles of drama, trying to get us to care about these characters in a meaningful way, and a lot of people who actually were defending this show kept telling me that, oh, the season finale is so good, bro. It's so amazing. If you just get to it, all the drama really starts hitting and you actually start connecting with the characters. No, I do not connect Fawn's insatiable desire to be with the Piss Wolf. I don't get it. There's this Piss Wolf named Derek, who in the only other episode we've seen him, other than when he returns, is his insatiable desire to just pee on everything. A little psst there, a little psst there. Oh yeah, you don't like it when I piss, baby? It's 'cause I'm a wild animal girl. As he begins to pee all over her legs. And personally, I just don't find it that funny. I didn't connect with that character. I didn't want to see him again. But then they bring him back and hinge all of the comedy on this returning character. The entire episode is basically about Fawn's desire to be with him, and I know nothing about this guy. Oh, he's a changed man, but I watched him piss on everything. So, God, I need these characters to be together now. It's just a very weird writing choice, because you could have made this about a different character who, you know, had a little bit more to him than just releasing that yellow tsunami everywhere, just pissing all over the floor, and maybe I'd be a little bit more enticed to care. But I don't understand Fawn's desire to be with this character. Maybe I'm looking too deep into it, but they act like it's such a big deal, and it's just not. Okay, so then they end up going to the wedding because Fawn wants to stop Derek from getting married. That is her big goal, because she wants to sleep with him, she wants to be with him, she wants that piss as lubrication, baby. She wants it really bad. And Ray and Josh, the bear and the raccoon, they also decide that they want to get freaky on this trip. At the same time, the fox Penelope, she also decides to get freaky and looks for somebody special. She eventually finds a girl animal that draws really weird pictures of her, but she likes it because she's all like,
Ew, you're drawing pictures of me and you think I look sexy? Ooh, maybe we should, get down and dirty, rub our clits together, huh?
you know, that's basically her arc. And you know the funny thing about this episode? This is actually the only episode of mating season that doesn't showcase animals getting down and dirty, just slapping their big meaty fur together. And I don't think that's a coincidence for why it's rated higher. You know, maybe you don't need to show animals getting down and dirty to get ratings. I don't know, unless people are into that. I'm personally not. So they're just walking through the wedding. We get a couple of scenes with Fawn and Derek being, you know, together. They kind of seem like they like each other. Ooh, the drama, bro. I'm getting really into it. And then they have this joke that is so fucking stupid. It genuinely made me like sit up out of my seat and just go, are we serious right now? Is this real? Is this actually what we're focusing on? There's this bird in the background and he's a Jew and he's having his bat mitzvah and he's becoming a man.
Wait, so that bird is a Jewish man now? How does that work?
Fucking wonderful. And they make 2 jokes out of that, and it takes up a minute of screen time where they're all just going, hey, 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 and the bird's all like,
oh yes, I become a man today. Oh, I think I got a henny. I think I broke my glasses.
except he doesn't say anything like that. It's just, man, how could a bird become a man, a Jewish man? How is that supposed to happen? I don't understand it. And then later, they talk to a clerk just working there, and he's all like, yeah, that bird thinks he's a Jewish man now, thinks he could do whatever he wants.
And he keeps hitting on me.
Oh yeah, everybody's been complaining. The little shit thinks he's a man now.
And I feel like that there's like a genuine pause, like you're supposed to laugh. Like, tell me, look me in the fucking eyes and tell me if I walked up to you and I said, that bird over there, he's a Jew, and he's a man now. And then I stare at you, just waiting for you to laugh. Are you gonna be chuckling at your screen, just a big old belly laugh, slapping your belly, slapping your knee, just getting all excited? No, probably not. But they decided to do that. Like, that is the main thing they were hinging the comedy on, and it just made me sit up and kind of get a little bit angry because I thought it was a little bit stupid. So Vaughn eventually meets the guy that Derek is, or the girl that Derek is marrying, and she ends up liking her, and she's like,
oh, girl, I don't know if I can do this. Like, it's so hard when you like the girl. Like, how am I supposed to have sex with her fiance like this? No!
You know, like, she's struggling with it immensely. And of course, in 5 minutes, she's gonna get down and dirty with him anyway, but what does it matter? Drama! You know, we're getting into it. And then they're at like the pre-wedding dinner thing. I'm blanking on what that's called. But they're at that, and Penelope, she meets this girl, and she like licks a cupcake, and it's the girl that draws the pictures of her looking all seductive, and she draws one of those, and they're having a conversation about it. And I just genuinely would love to be in the writer's room for something like this, and just to be sitting there like, what the fuck are you talking about, you fucking incel? Why would you even suggest something like that? Because you have to sit there and you have to be like,
okay, guys, so we're gonna have like a 5-year-old boy run up to the vulgar, explicit picture of the naked fox that this woman just drew, and he's gonna be all like, I would love to drop my nut on that.
Oh, I think my nuts just dropped.
David, don't look at that filth.
and then they just start cackling, everybody's clapping and just rejoicing, and then the mom walks up and is like,
Oh, little Timmy, that's not for you. That's for Mama's eyes only.
That's for mommy's eyes only.
What? So,
and then she starts lusting over this picture and saying really weird things, and I just think it's odd in the context of having a little kid there, but whatever, maybe I'm the bad guy for thinking it's weird to have a little kid in this situation, I don't know. And so she then proceeds to start humping the table aggressively, saying, I'm coming,
I'm coming right now.
Christmas
Son is right there.
in front of her like 4-year-old son. So that was something that I wasn't necessarily ready for. but oh well. So then Fawn and Derek end up sleeping with each other
in a passionate night, and it was so beautiful. It genuinely warmed my heart in so many ways. I'm truly feeling connected to mating season now because of this beautiful fucking love story between a poorly drawn deer and a wolf that likes to pee. Hooey.
And then we see that Ray and Josh, they both have found women that they are interested in. The only problem is none of them necessarily want to get what they are desiring. Like, Josh wants a long-term relationship, and this woman sees Josh peering into a fridge, walks up to him and goes, "I want some of that sloppy bear ass," and begins to slap and whack it.
Thanks, but I'll have a sloppy bear ass.
Sloppy bear ass.
Never thought I would see a beaver do that in my day. And then, well, Josh is saying that he's not ready and he doesn't want that. She leaves very angry, saying that, "Oh, this is your loss. I walked in here with my pussy a squishin'."
I walked in here pussy a squishin'.
Pussy a squishin'.
That is a new one. Now, I don't know a lot of dudes who would really want that, but, you know, it's just a little odd, like the terms, the phrasing. The impeccable dialogue choices are just something that I always have to point out in a show like this. Like, that was the best thing. That was the most funny thing they could come up with. My pussy a squishin'. Ooh. Everybody just starts going, "Yes! Oh my god, that is so much better than saying that she's wet. Her pussy is a squishin'." Nick Kroll just starts getting sucked off the second he just signs off on that one. Because genuinely, it's just very dumb dialogue. It's like they feel the need to add something that is just like pure shock value, but is so unnecessary for the scene. I don't know. It just is weird, to say the least. So, the deer and the wolf get freaky, and then the wolf, of course, is all like, "Oh no, I'm still planning on getting married. Like, oh, that was just like one last hoorah, you know, like that was just our last night together." So then Fawn tries to tell Cynthia that Derek cheated, and she fails the first time, to add a little bit of extra drama and poor writing decisions just off the back of all of that. And so she goes to the wedding, and then it completely makes it null and void the last scene where Fawn decides to be all like, "Yes, she did in fact sleep with me." And it turns out that good old-fashioned piss wolf, everybody be wanting that stinky cack, because they all slept with him. So he gets run off, run away. And just one thing that I have to point out about this entire thing, the only part of the episode that I genuinely loved was Cynthia walking down the aisle, and there's a choir singing, "Who let the dogs out?"
I can't believe we're finally here.
I liked that. That was fun. It was the only thing to make me feel better out of this entire monstrosity. And then just to top it all off, they try to add a little bit more of that spicy drama towards the end of the episode, where Ray and Josh, they go up to the women and are like, "Hey ladies, I think we should swap who you wanted to be with." And one of the beavers has the audacity, the gall, the chutzpah, to take a look at Ray and say, "I have two vaginas, Ray. One of them is my butt, and I poop in it."
You really missed out, Ray. I have a second vagina.
What?
It's in my butt, and I poop out of it.
And I poop out of it. Oh my god.
Oh, hot dog. Brilliant. Brilliant. God, that's incredible writing skills. Hot dog. And then they add the season 2 cliffhanger, in which the beagle that is in the earlier parts of the season, who Penelope knew for all of 5 minutes, fell in love with. She literally abandons Penelope, ditches her, and then doesn't see her for years, and then shows up back in her life like, "Hey, I made a mistake. I love you. I know I abandoned you." So that in season 2, they could spend probably only one episode with the drama and then immediately move past it, so that all of the characters can get back doing what they do, and that's getting down and dirty and having a different romance for every single episode. It is awful. And this is the top rated episode. So far, it's getting a big thumbs down. I thought maybe if I watched it a second time, it wouldn't be as bad because it wouldn't have that initial shock factor to it to where I'm hating what I'm seeing. But there's just so many things that I can't gloss over when watching this. The writing choices are so bad because all of the drama is placed right in front of you as it's happening. There's no build up, and when they try to build it up, it ultimately feels meaningless because you don't connect with any of the characters. I don't care that the Piss Wolf cheated with Fawn because I expected it because he's a dirty wolf that pees on the floor. I don't care. It's just all drama that only exists in a small time frame that they don't build up because the entire 9 episodes before this, I didn't give a shit about any of these characters because they did nothing to showcase that. And it just sucks. On top of that, the comedy's awful, the dialogue's awful, this show sucks. Mating season, big thumbs down. I don't think you could have a best episode. The next show I'm going to be taking a look at is Big Mouth, and the episode that was the top rated one of the best episodes in the series, is the episode The Dark Side of the Boob. And I had actually never seen this one before, which is a little bit surprising, although I've only seen seasons like 1 and a little bit of 2 back in 8th grade, and even in 8th grade I was like, this shit is getting weird, man, and I had to stop watching it because it was just like, what the fuck's going on? Watching a young girl talk to her own vagina and have a conversation with it. I don't know if I'm about that. But going into this episode, I would definitely say that it falls into the category that basically all of Big Mouth falls into, and that is having a really great concept with really weird execution. Because I'm on the boat that you could still have a very comedic show that tackles all of these aspects of puberty and growing up without having to show the children get extra freaky with their situations. I don't know, maybe that's just me that thinks it's weird. I don't fucking know, but I don't think you have to have little children humping their little worm for a very long time just to get that through, while there's an adult hormone monster going like, oh yeah, you're humping that really good. Oh, Andrew, did you like watching that girl hump that plushie? Oh, yeah, I liked it. Ooh, you know? Like, I just think you could go a different direction with it. Either way, the episode starts off with a interesting concept of this character named Gina getting her boobs coming in. And everybody, all the dudes, they like that. They're like, boobs, you know, and she doesn't feel very good about that, and Nick calms her down, and then we get to watch 2 13-year-olds passionately make out, where one of the hormone monster women, Connie, she starts playing a symphony, so all I'm hearing is do 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 with a little bit of in between, and it's not a sound you really ever want in your ears, but here I am, to say the least. And so they're doing that, and Nick, he cops a feel. He gets a little bit of feel of that boob, and he ascends to the next level. He's feeling great. And then there's this fat little chubby fuck that gets on my screen. He pissed me the hell off. Like, who is this? It's a fat little hormone monster, and he starts licking my screen going,
oh, you're so sexy. Oh, let me feel your boob.
I want to touch your boobs.
I didn't like that one bit. Why'd you have to animate that? Did people find that funny? Did people like that? Was there like a 47-year-old mother of 3 children watching that alone in her basement as she's smoking her 20th cigarette like,
You want to feel my boob?
that was funny. Who was that for? I didn't want this fat little creature to tell me anything about its wants and desires. Didn't like that one bit. But then we get into the actual episode, you know, that was just the opening, and immediately it's the character Missy going to town on this worm, humping it vigorously because she's having a really good dream. Do you have to show me that for so long? Like, can't you just show me it for 1 second? Maybe she could have a cover over herself. I could still insinuate what's going on instead of having to watch her actually do it. I'm not really a fan of that. And the worm is actually a sentient creature with an adult voice that likes to go, "Ow, that was such a good session, Missy. Oh, yeah. You really know how to squiggle all over me, don't you, girl?"
More tonight. I've got this idea where you fold me in half.
Oh,
which again, I don't really like that it can talk to her and it is a sentient being. That is a little bit weird. So we then see Nick and Andrew and Jay and Jesse all walking to the sleepover that they're going to have, and Nick decides to talk about the boobage, which spreads the information that's bad, and in response, Murray looks at Connie and is all like, "Oh yeah? You want to share some pasta because we're carbo loading?" And then they proceed to have just a dirty, nasty 69 as he eats the spaghetti out of her vag. And what does that add? Really, ultimately nothing. Just, man, I don't know how to fill this next scene with any comedy. Let's just have the two hormone monsters start licking each other's innards. It's some things that don't really need to be in the episode. Again, you're focusing on some great concepts like a girl developing, which can be very hard for them, and then the concept of a guy giving too much information and making it seem like she is a little bit of a slut. That is something that maybe somebody was going through because they were going through romances and relationships, and all of a sudden they're getting bullied and they don't know how to feel with it, and you could focus on that, and then you just interrupt this entire concept of a girl developing, having makeout sessions, being treated like a slut, with two dirty hormone monsters being all like, "Oh yeah, let me lick that pasta out of you." It's just weird. It's just weird to me, the things that they decide to do. I don't know how to feel about it. So they then get to the big sleepover, and we get this concept of shame incarnate in the form of a shame wizard, who we actually thought was a really cool character, a character that just speaks to you because everybody in the show is like manic or something, and they could all have this demon that talks to them about their shame and their insecurities and just voices that vocally, which makes them make rash decisions. Again, a really cool concept, but then it just gets weird again really fast. Like, Nick is being an awful person. He's spreading all of the information to all of the guys about Gina and her boobs, and eventually she learns about it and she freaks out because everybody is calling her a slut. It's all she could hear. Everybody's talking about it. A great concept, and then it's just interrupted by this guy named Coach Steve, who I didn't really remember very much, walking over and being all like,
"Hey Jay, are you being nice to all of your friends? Oh well, I did you tell them that I'm fucking your mom, Jay? I'm getting my what the hell does he say? Is it because I made a thick and your mom's warm?
As I made thick and your mom's warm.
Steve!
Okay. I'd rather focus on the cool concepts that you got going on with all these characters that's very dramatic, and maybe have an actual joke that relates to that thrown in, other than this adult man walking over and being all like, I fucked your mom, Jay. I fucked your mom. And he's so oblivious. I don't like that character one bit. I don't know if that's controversial to the Big Mouth fans, but Coach Steve is pretty fucking weird. I don't really like the idea of a grown man acting like a toddler and saying, "I put a thick in your mom." But, maybe that's just, once again, my weird opinion on it. And so, Missy eventually is feeling sleepy before everybody else, so she goes into the gym where nobody else is, and that is once again where the worm starts talking to her, trying to get her to do a good old-fashioned humping, which again, I don't really like the sentient creatures that I don't understand telling them. And of course you could just be like, "Oh, well, it's just like the simulation, the mentality. It's actually the kids saying that to themselves, but it's in the conception of a worm." I don't like it. I don't care. I don't like hearing a grown worm go, "Oh, come on, Missy, don't you want to get a little dirty tonight? I need somebody to wiggle with." Like, it's just weird to me. Okay, so they start humping it up, and in between that, of course, we have Murray being all like, "Andrew, I'm holding two penises, and one of them is deformed, but I won't let him know, because I care about him." And again, what are we doing? What are we doing? We got some great concepts going on. You got the Gina plotline, the Nick being mean and not understanding what he did to Gina. You got all these things going on. There's a character that's gay, I don't remember his name, and he's struggling that nobody wants to spend time with him because he's a homosexual. You have so many cool concepts going on, and then you're like, "Oh yeah, let's add in Murray just having penises in his hand. That's gonna get a couple of laughs as he's like, oh, look at this deformed cock." Like, why? Why is that what you do in between every scene? Because the scene right after he's talking about these little furry penises. It's Missy getting caught humping. And she's caught by a bunch of dudes getting down and dirty with the worm. And it's so weird, like, the progression of it. Like, again, I go to this idea of, it's a great concept, but do you really need to show that? Because she goes to the bathroom, she's crying, and she's holding her little squiggly worm who she was getting down and dirty with, and the shame wizard shows up because the worm isn't talking, and he's all like, "You filthy masturbator. Oh, you killed him."
Killed him. What? Poor Wiggles. Wiggles? Humped to death by a filthy little masturbator. No.
What? The worm is dead from the great humpening of 2018? Was that the hump of 18? Like what are we doing? Like, why is the worm dead now, and why is that shameful? Why was the worm able to talk to her in the first place? I don't get it. So she kills the worm, and then to showcase that Missy has always been a little bit horny, even though for this entire episode you showed me her humping a worm, you have to showcase a situation from her past where she was a toddler, and apparently she's always liked to get down and dirty humping a worm.
See, someone's having fun.
It tickles my vagina.
Oh.
So it's a scene where she is even younger, getting freaky with the worm. You couldn't just been like, "Oh wow, I guess I have been humping the worm for a very long time." You had to go and show it. What does that add to my viewing experience? I already know that she likes to hump the worm. Why? It's just weird. So that happens, and then the shame wizard begins to sing this actually pretty cool song about everybody's insecurities and what he's going to do to them. And I believe this is a 2-parter episode, but I don't really care to watch the next part. I'm going to get a couple of Big Mouth fans like, "Well, if you didn't watch both parts, then you're clearly not getting the bigger picture." And I am getting the bigger picture. This show has really great concepts that could have been explored in a much more interesting way. Honestly, if there was a different showrunner, perhaps different writers, I think the animators are just doing what they're told, making those big heads and having kids kiss. So I think if it was made by somebody who had a true passion to teach kids in a fun comedic way, you could still have it be funny for adults, then you wouldn't fluff everything out with the most insignificant bullshit. Because again, you have great concepts that you can tell jokes about in a meaningful way. I obviously can't think about it. Start writing your comments. Well, then you do it. I can't. There's people who genuinely get paid to write really good stuff. But I would rather have somebody who's more well thought out, more into it than Nick Kroll and Andrew Goldberg being in charge of this one, because such amazing concepts get wasted by, "Oh, hey Connie, have you seen these penises? Let me lick inside of you. Oh yeah, let's draw this young girl humping away. Oh yeah." Like, it's just weird to me. It's always been weird to me. Even when I was a 12-year-old or 13-year-old, I always thought this show was cool because you would think it would be relatable, and then they would fluff it with the most weird stuff that you ever see in any show. And I just don't like it. So overall, I would definitely say this episode isn't horrible. Again, really great concepts. I just think it could have been executed in a way better way to where you don't fluff it with stuff that genuinely does not matter in the slightest. Some things go on way too long. Some things are just annoying. I think there was a lot of, ideas that could have worked if it was made by a different person. The next show I'm going to be taking a look at is Brickleberry, and I know because you all just feed off my suffering that this might make you click off the video. You might run away, scream, smash the frame picture you have of me next to your bed, and say, no, he's lying. But don't tell anybody. I kind of like this episode of Brickleberry. Now, I know that might be a strange and scary thing to hear, but it's true, damn it. Now, I've seen this episode before. It's back when I was in a maid outfit watching all of Brickleberry 40 plus hours. And I know what you're thinking. A maid outfit? You? Yeah, of course. Somebody paid a large sum of money to see this big guy in a maid outfit, and they were probably sitting there like, oh, big old man in a maid outfit. I want to see that guy clean my house or get oiled up. I don't know. You guys have been getting really freaky in the comments recently. But either way, I initially watched this episode and I didn't like it, and I think that was just because I was angry that I had to spend the next 40 hours of my life only watching Brickleberry. But upon rewatch, there's a pretty good episode, you know? I think it's probably the best one out of all of Paradise PD, all of Farzar, and all of Brickleberry, which I've watched all of those shows all the way through. The shock value humor, which Brickleberry completely and utterly relies on, was actually done in a way that furthers the episode, which ultimately makes the experience a lot better than it typically would be. Because typically, it's the type of situation where, fucking pretend this is a dog. I'm showing you a dog right now. Look at this. Isn't this a cute puppy? You know? And then they just snap it, rip it apart, pull its head off, and that's the joke. But here, they don't really do none of that. There's, of course, a little bit of that because, you know, there's somebody huffing and puffing on the other side of the screen like, an animal hasn't died in 7 minutes. I'm never gonna watch the show again if an animal doesn't die meaninglessly, please. You know, so they eventually have to give in and have to show an animal dying, and that's the entire joke and doesn't amplify the episode. But for the most part, it's good. So, the episode is called Squabbits, and Woody, he's upset that Yellowstone is getting a ton of visitors, and he's not getting any visitors at all. So Steve, his lackey, goes out and is driving the car like, oh yeah, this is such a good day. Gotta find something that's gonna get some visitors. Is that a fucking squirrel? And he sprints at it, and the squirrel crawls up a lady's pants, and he, you know, kind of used that as an invitation. Let me crawl up in there, girl. And he's looking around for that squirrel. He finds it after, you know, getting pulled away from this poor woman who got violated at a nice picnic with her children. And now he has a squirrel. And he hears a woman far away say, oh, that's the cutest thing ever, as she's staring at a rabbit. So Steve rightfully drives his car and just rams the woman off a cliff.
Oh, look at you.
Oh my god!
And it's always such an interesting feeling when Brickleberry genuinely gets a laugh out of you. It's honestly shocking. It's like, it must have been how people felt when Jesus rose from the dead, when he came back 3 days later, because it's just something you never thought you'd see, something you never thought you would feel, because I was chuckling at that. So he brutally murders that woman, he grabs both the rabbit and the squirrel, and proceeds to make them get a little bit freaky. You know, how do you get a rabbit and a squirrel to get freaky? Well, you grab the squirrel and you dress it up like a whore. So the squirrel's sitting there like, oh, yeah, I'm from Jersey. I'm a whore. I'm wearing lipstick and a dress. And he just, I think, force feeds the rabbit a lot of Viagra, so they start pounding. And this brings the creation of a squabbit, a pink squirrel rabbit, you know, combination. Wonderful. And so you have the squabbit. And it brings a bunch of visitors, and Woody's very happy about this, but Malloy, he doesn't like that one bit. Malloy is this little bear that Woody has that can talk because, you know, it wouldn't be a Family Guy clone without a talking fucking animal. So Malloy wants to try to kill the squabbit, and he puts it in a microwave, doesn't work, tries to drill its head, it doesn't work, and eventually he throws it into a wall and a giant axe chops it in half. Woody is devastated. He goes away like, no, my little squabbit, why? But while they're sleeping, the squabbit resurrects itself, and upon that, there are now 2 squabbits. The squabbits reliving, being born once again. They look at each other and they just start pounding immediately. And again, like, I'm not one to hate sex comedy when it's done right. And the last thing that I expected to happen was the 2 squabbits to look at each other after being resurrected and start getting down and dirty, just slapping their big meaty sticks together. So that was a surprise, and this leads to obviously more squabbits being born. And Malloy, he has to go and live in the wilderness, and this is where we get the only real animal death joke in the entire episode, and that is he just watching a video of a panda on his phone. And it's that thing where a baby panda sneezes, but instead of the panda mom being, you know, mildly frightened, she grabs the baby and just fucking rips it in half. And that's the joke. Hot dog, knee slapper, so funny. I love watching a baby panda get ripped in half, and that's all there is to it. So that was something. So eventually there's way too many squabbits and they're eating all of the forestation, and Woody's debating if he wants to kill them or not. So that's when PETA shows up. And I love this joke where they're like, oh my god, it's PETA! And that's PETA with an I, which is 2 very different companies. And he just stares at the screen.
PETA? No, PETA with an I. It's a completely different organization.
That's actually a genuinely good joke. I liked that. That was beautiful. See,
You can write. You can write. Here. Here, have some body oil. Here, writers, you can do it. Have some body oil. I knew you could.
I'm always impressed when they can actually tell a really good joke in the show. It's a surprise, it's wondrous, but God, is it welcome. And I think they did an interesting take on PETA, where PETA in this episode is trying to defend the Squabbits, which, if it was the real PETA, they would show up and be all like, "We're here to save the Squabbits!" and then immediately start killing all of them, because that's what PETA does. So, them actually trying to save the animals, a little bit weird, but okay. And so, PETA is defending them. They lock Woody and all the other park rangers inside of a cage while they're trying to defend the Squabbits. The Squabbits eventually get a taste for blood, and they eat all of the PETA members, which was great. And how do we resolve all of this with all the Squabbits? Well, Pamela fucking Anderson falls from the sky, and because she's a dirty hoe, the Squabbits get a nibble of her, and they all die. So, that was a cool way to end the episode. So, once again, this was probably the best episode out of the Brickleberry verse, that being Brickleberry, Paradise, Petey, and Farzar, which are all the same exact show, pretty much. It had very good shock humor that actually furthered the episode, which was great. Nothing was really too vulgar that it would only appeal to a knuckle-dragging Neanderthal. So, overall, a lot of fun. This one gets a thumbs up for me. Surprisingly, one of these awful shows is getting 2 of these. I like this episode, but don't go around telling nobody. The next show I'm going to be taking a look at is Mr. Pickles, and when it comes to Mr. Pickles, there really isn't a whole lot of clips that I could show you, especially with the episode that I just watched, which is called Cheese Man. It's supposed to be one of the best in the series, and yeah, it's definitely an acquired taste, to say the least. Now, I want to preface that I don't necessarily hate this show, but I don't see myself being able to watch more than one episode at a time, because it's for a gruesome type of person. It's the type of person who would do the Reddit 50-50 challenge or run the gauntlet, and they see like somebody shredding their wiener with a cheese grater, and they're just sitting there like... And that's the only reaction they ever make to some of the like worst things you could ever see, because that's all Mr. Pickles is. The best way that I could describe the episode Cheese Man is a lot of sex, a lot of death, and a slutty fish. That's how I would describe it. The episode opens with this fisherman being all like, "I'm gonna dress you up real good, princess," and he's holding the fish, and he's putting lipstick on it as he's unzipping his pants, and he thinks that he has another fish on his line, and Mr. Pickles pops out from the water and brutally murders him.
Don't worry, I'll throw you back once I'm done with you.
And that's something that just repeatedly happens. Tommy and his father and all them, they are going to this lake for a camping trip. And things just keep going wrong and wrong and wrong as these like group of high schoolers show up, and they all just get dirty and nasty and tell them about the cheese man, a man who had cheese thrown at him and then he caught on fire and ran into a lake and died. And he's apparently still walking these woods, which is pretty wild. And then we just watch them get down and dirty, make out, and then Mr. Pickles kills people. I guess one scene that I can highlight to truly, get you in the mood for it is this one where this nerd is in the shower and he sees a hole in the wall and he's like, "I see an opportunity for some observation."
This looks like the perfect situation for observation.
And then he's staring at this woman, and this other man walks through the curtain and wants to pound her, but she has back hair, so he's like, "Ew, back hair!" And then the woman stares at him, is like, "You're not getting out of this," and starts trying to spread his cheeks, and then she gets an axe to her head. And again, I'm not going to show you a lot of these clips, because monetization demons, because that's like all it is. It's just death repeatedly, so much death. Mr. Pickles kills a bunch of people. He's eventually rewarded for his murder spree. How wonderfully for you, Sir Pickle. And then he proceeds to to find Tommy, who was washed down a river. Again, I'm not going into detail about everything because it doesn't necessarily matter very much. He gets taken by the actual cheese man and befriends him all of a sudden. And then Tommy has the fish at the end, the slut fish from the beginning. He's holding the slutty fish. And he's like, where'd my fish go? Where'd it go? And the cheese man is pounding the fish and then gets murdered by Mr. Pickles.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you naughty little fish.
Huh?
And that's pretty much it. It's just a whole lot of sex and death. And that's the only way to describe it. I don't have any jokes to make about it. I don't have any further criticism. It's just pounding and dying. That's really all it is. I'm not gonna I'll give it like a half thumbs up because I mean, Mr. Pickles does exactly what it states it's going to do. It's just going to be gruesome, and I'm not necessarily going to fault it for that. It is just a show that is for a very specific person, and I don't think I'm that person. But it definitely wasn't a horrible time. It definitely, you know, kept me engaged, to say the least. There you have it. That is my attempt at trying to find some good episodes of really bad shows. If you like this video, get it to 700 likes, and I will make a part 2 where I take a look at more shows that I absolutely despise and try to find some good episodes out of those. I didn't really expect a whole lot out of Mating Season. I kind of knew that entire show was garbage, but everybody really loves when I talk about it, and if it makes people laugh from me talking about it, that's going to motivate me to want to watch it. I just like knowing that I make a couple people laugh. Big Mouth, I was kind of hopeful for their top-rated episode. I thought it would be a little bit better. Again, it's just a lot of really good concepts that are wasted with all of the stuff in between and some things that they don't need to show, like, oh yeah, Andrew, let's watch Missy cuddle and hump on that worm. Ooh, ah, yeah, I like that. And it's just not really something that I would be interested in. I never have, and it's just not my favorite. Brickleberry was a genuine surprise because I had seen that episode before, and I remember disliking it, but here, it was actually a really fun time. It gave me a couple of laughs, and it was the big shocker of this video, where it actually delivered on its comedy and its story to make a pretty good episode. Mr. Pickles, again, not bad, just not my cup of tea. Not my cup of tea. I don't think it ever will be. It's not the worst thing that has ever been produced, but it's, again, not something that I ever think I could watch more than one episode of. Still, it was kind of what I expected it to be. So that's going to do it for this video. I really hope you guys enjoyed. If you want a part 2 to this video where I cover more awful shows that have been controversial on the channel, get this video to, I don't know, 600 likes, and I will definitely make a part 2. So thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed. I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for 66,666 subscribers. We are 2/3 of the way to 100,000, which is crazy in under 2 years of really going at this, and I appreciate you guys a lot. So thank you. I'm done with my rambling. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.